Shalom, everybody. I'm Rabbi Don Levy for Jewish Journeys. There are few passages of the Torah that are considered more central and key to Jewish thought and therefore to Jewish life than the 22nd chapter of Genesis. Because this passage is so important, it is read publicly not only in the annual cycle of readings, but also it is read as a standalone reading on the second day of Rosh Hashanah, or in Progressive or Reform Judaism, on the first and only day of Rosh Hashanah. Every year, Jews gather in numbers unprecedented at other times of the year to be uplifted by the service, by the Torah reading, and by the rabbi's explanation of the Torah reading. And every year, rabbis all over the world struggle to bring important meaning to this passage. I know I certainly have. Just as I have struggled personally to understand everything that's going on in this passage of Torah, so too have I struggled to convey it to my congregations in a way that would make them want to come back for more the next week and the week after that and the week after that. So it isn't surprising that this is one of the passages of Torah that I use in my biblical Hebrew class to teach the Hebrew of the Bible. And I'm going to present it to you now and in subsequent videos in the same way that I present it to my biblical Hebrew classes. We are going to stick close to the text and try to understand what it is saying to us. There will be some context that I'll, by necessity, fill in. But as much as possible, we will stay right on the text and discuss it verse by verse, phrase by phrase. So sit back and turn on your Torah tuners and let us dive into the 22nd chapter of Bereshit. Verse 1. Vayhi achar hadvarim ha'ele veha Elohim nisa et Avraham vayomer elav Avraham vayomer hineni. Vayhi, and so it happened. Achar, after. Hadvarim ha'ele, these matters. In this case, these matters is referring to the expulsion of Hagar and Ishmael, which was documented in the 21st chapter of Genesis. Veha Elohim, that God, Nisa, tested, et Avraham, Abraham, vayomer elav, and God said to him, Avraham, Abraham, vayomer, and Abraham said, Hineni, here I am. Hineni is actually more pregnant with meaning than just meaning here I am. It means here I am, I'm listening to you, and I'm ready to serve you. Vayhi achar hadvarim ha'ele veha Elohim nisa et Avraham vayomer elav Avraham vayomer hineni. Abraham is no stranger to receiving direct communication from God. We first met him as Avram 10 chapters back in Parashat Lech Lecha. The context was God calling Avram to leave the place of his habitation and go forth, this in faith, to a destination which Avram would not even know until God told him he had arrived. Therefore, in the first verse of chapter 22 here, when God speaks to Abraham, the latter is ready with the loaded response, Hineni. In this first verse, we're only given a hint of what's to come. We're told that Abraham is about to be tested. Tradition identifies 10 distinct tests of faith that Abraham must undergo, of which this is the final and most difficult. Verse 2, Vayomer kach na et bincha et yechidcha asher ahavta et Yitzchak v'lech lecha el eretz haMoriah v'ha'alehu sham le'olah al ehad heharim asher omar elecha. Vayomer, and God said, Kach na, take, et bincha, your son, et yechidcha, your only one, asher ahavta, whom you love, et Yitzchak, Isaac, v'lech lecha, and go for your own sake, el eretz haMoriah, to the land of Moriah, v'ha'alehu sham, and take him up there, le'olah, as a burnt offering, al ehad heharim, upon one of the mountains, asher omar alecha, which I will tell you. Vayomer kach na et bincha et yechidcha, asher ahavta, et Yitzchak, v'lech lecha el eretz haMoriah, v'ha'alehu sham le'olah al ahad heharim asher omar elecha. Before we learn of the test that Abraham will bear, we have a strong hint that it is going to be a difficult one. The first word in our verse, Vayomer, is sung to the melody Pazer, which goes like this. Pazer. And it's a marker to say what's coming is epic. But then the second word is sung to Tlisha Gdolah, which sounds like this. Tlisha Gdolah. It is an even stronger marker to get one's attention. To have a Pazer followed immediately by a Tlisha Gdolah is like saying, this is really epic. And so it is. Abraham is told to take his son to a place that will be shown to him and offer him up as a burnt offering. And in conveying this, God offers a string of phrases to make it clear whom he's talking about. Your son, your only one, the one whom you love, Isaac. Another important observation here is that God uses the term lech lecha, which is the same word with which he calls Avram back in Genesis 12 to go forth to Canaan. Lech lecha means literally go to yourself or go for yourself. Its message is that in accepting God's commission, Abraham benefits. It's difficult on the surface to understand just how sacrificing his only beloved son can be beneficial. But Abraham clearly needs no convincing. Verse 3, Vayashkem Avraham baboker, Vayachvosh et hamoro, Vayikach et shnei na'arav ito, ve'et Yitzchak bano, Vayvaka atzei olah, Vayakom vayelech, el hamakom asher amar lo ha'elohim. Vayashkem Avraham baboker. So Abraham arose early in the morning. Vayachvosh et chamoro, and he bound up or saddled his donkey. Vayikach et shnei na'arav ito, and he took his 2 young men, or his 2 boy servants, with him. Ve'et Yitzchak bano, and Isaac his son. Vayvaka atzei olah, and he split the wood for the burnt offering. Vayakom vayelech, and he got up and went. El hamakom, to the place. Asher amar lo ha'Elohim, about which God had told him. Vayashkem Avraham baboker, vayachvosh et chamoro, vayikach et shnei na'arav ito, ve'et Yitzchak bano, vayvaka atzei olah, vayakom vayelech, el hamakom asher amar lo ha'Elohim. The Torah is always laconic. As we read our way through the text, we're always left in the dark as to the swirling emotions of the actors. So too in this case. Whatever Abraham is feeling after being told to offer up his son, his only son, with his beloved wife Sarah as a burnt offering, whatever upheaval of emotions he experiences is not revealed in the Torah. Instead, in this verse, we're given more than a hint as to Abraham's willingness to carry out God's wishes. We're told that Abraham arose early in the morning, saddled the donkey, and split the wood himself rather than have his 2 servant boys or any of the other numerous servants in the camp do it for him. He is shown as being eager to carry out this commission. And this is the crux of the discomfort that the casual reader must experience with the text. How can Abraham, who along with his wife desired a son, do this? Despite God's promise that their seed would be numerous and would be significant to the experience of all of humanity, the years passed and Sarah did not conceive. When she finally did, it was only through an incredible miracle, as Abraham and Sarah were already old. Abraham had lost much of his vigor, and Sarah, she had already been through menopause. But they did conceive Isaac, and now Abraham is told to slaughter him and have the fire of sacrifice consume him. We're not told what he's feeling, but we do know that he's eager. And in this knowledge, it is reasonable that we wonder just what is the quality of this man whom we are clearly expected to revere. Verse 4, Bayom hashlishi, Vayisa Avraham et einav, Vayar et hamakom merachok. Bayom hashlishi, on the 3rd day, Vayisa Avraham et einav, Abraham lifted up his eyes, Vayar et hamakom, and he saw the place, merachok, from afar. Bayom hashlishi, Vayisa Avraham et einav, Vayar et hamakom merachok. From this verse, we learn that the place God has chosen for the sacrifice is 3 days' journey from Abraham's camp. Abraham must walk resolutely forward with no idea as to where he's going. Again, trust. But finally, he sees the spot from afar. We're not told that God points it out to Abraham, only that he lifts up his eyes and apparently knows that this is the place. He has clearly been shown the place in some kind of vision. Verse 5. Vayomer Avraham el na'arav, shvu lechem po im ha'hamor, va'ani ve'hana'ar, nelcha ad ko, v'nishtachave v'nashuva aleichem. Vayomer Avraham, and Abraham said, El na'arav, to his boy servants, shvu lechem po, sit yourselves down here. Im ha'hamor, with the donkey. Va'ani ve'hana'ar, whilst the boy and I, nelcha, will go, ad ko, up to thus, or there. V'nishtachaveh, and will worship, v'nashuva aleichem, and will return to you. Vayomer Avraham el na'arav, shvu lechem po im ha'hamor, va'ani ve'hana'ar, nelcha ad ko, v'nishtachaveh, v'nashuva aleichem. Having reached the place of the sacrifice, Abraham instructs his two servant boys to remain behind with the donkey, whilst he and Isaac continue to the place where they will perform the mission. But there is a hint here that Abraham knows he will ultimately not be required to sacrifice Isaac. He tells the boys that he and his son will proceed to where they need to go. They will worship, literally, they will bow down, and then they will return to the servants. Abraham clearly tells the boys that we will return. It is the first hint that Abraham does not really believe he's going to have to sacrifice his son Isaac.
יש לנו תורה מיוחדת במינה, בבתי הכנסת השמחה חוגגת.